Hello, everyone. This is Brother Benson Media, and I'm joined through audio by Miguda. Miguda, how are you doing?
I'm very good, my bro. How are you doing over there?
I'm doing fine.
How is there? I've just seen someone is taking an out of office.
Yep. Today in the history, Trump is coming back and he's taking oath of office today, which means the administration of Joe Biden will be ending soon, as Trump will be picking it up. And, before even getting into the office, he made some executive orders. TikTok was banned, but TikTok is back, especially for those who are enjoying entertainment and businesses who were thriving on TikTok. Now they're very happy because TikTok is banned. But I think it will be I think they've been given a grace period of 90 days, and so that they can formalize or they risk being banned. I think so, but it's something that also we will be watching today. Also, before we come to Kenyan politics, yesterday I was following up on the Tanzanian politics, and I was so much focused on the CCM. They were in Dodoma. I think last week we talked about the political space, especially for the young people in Tanzania. But what I came to realize was like the majority of celebrity of Tanzanians, starting from those who the A list in entertainment industry, especially in Bongo Flava, come to the those who film, they call it the movie industry, to comedy. Everyone was there in Dodoma. What is your take on that?
The artists are aligning themselves with the ruling party, the CCM. CCM is an identity to the Tanzanian people. I know the founders of the CCM were the people like late Mwalimu Julius Nyerere. It has
Mhm.
served many presidents like Kikwete, people like Magufuli. And even
Exactly.
Magufuli had fans in the artist industry. You remember Diamond Platnumz one day um, composed a song about Magufuli.
All of them.
All of them, they have composed a song about Magufuli. I believe they are a CCM. They, I believe they are pro CCM and they believe in CCM. That's why they were present in that meeting.
Do you think like they are for CCM or kuna uoga fulani ambao wanaona kama wanamuziki ni kwamba labda nikikosoa nitakuwa na shida?
Sidhani kama kuna uoga ya wanamuziki katika nchini Tanzania. Ni
Mm.
vile pengine chama cha Mapinduzi CCM ni chama ambayo inapendezwa across the country. Au wanamuziki pia ni wenyeji wa Tanzania, ndiposa unapata wanajiunga na wale wafuasi wa CCM popote walipo, haswa mjini wa Dodoma. Ni mjini ambayo iko na historia kwa wale wa Tanzania, ndio basi
Mm.
unapata wanamuziki wengi wanakutana huko, na pia ni miongoni, inawapatia fursa, kando na kuwa na uhusiano nzuri na Chama cha Mapinduzi, pia inawapatia fursa kukutana na wale mafans wao. Japo Dodoma kuna fan base kubwa ya wanamuziki.
Mm. Dodoma ama Dar es Salaam? Unajua walikuwa katika mkutano mkuu. Unapata kwamba mikoa zote za Tanzania zilikuwa ziko Dodoma, ukiona hata kwa zile mabango. Mimi nilifuatilia sana na nilikuwa naangalia tu kwa sababu najua kwa kweli ni Samia Suluhu Hassan ndiye atapeperusha hiyo bendera, kwa sababu yeye ndio mwenyekiti wa chama cha CCM. Lakini ukiangalia siasa zao sana sana za CCM kwa jumla na Tanzania, na ukuje ulinganisha na siasa yetu ya Kenya, tofauti iko wapi?
Siasa la nchini Tanzania ni tofauti sana na siasa la Kenya. Kwanza,
Mm.
siasa la Tanzania iko na msingi. Walianzisha siasa zao katika msingi, na msingi yao ilikuwa umoja wa Wanatanzania, umoja ya wananchi. Hakuna kitu kama ukabila, hawakugawanywa miongoni mwao.
Kwa msingi okay, nadhani ulikuwa unataka kuzungumzia ukabila. Hawakugawanywa katika msingi wa ukabila katika ya Tanzania. Miguda, are you back? Tunajaribu tu kulinganisha siasa ya Tanzania kwa sababu najua Tanzania wanaelekea katika msimu wa kuchagua, yani general election, so wameanza kufanya mkakati za uchaguzi. Tulikuwa tunaangalia, lakini hayo tu ilikuwa tu maneno ambayo labda tulikuwa tunaongezea tu nyama kipindi chetu ambayo tunataka kuanzisha saa hizi. Na jambo ambalo tunataka kuzungumzia sana sana ni ile salamu za heri ya Raila Amolo Odinga na Rais William Ruto. Tunaona kama kuna changamoto ambazo inaikwaza sana kwa sababu kuna baadhi ya wanachama wa ODM ambao wanaona kama hawako kwa serikali na pia wanatoa pingamizi mkali kwa serikali, na pia kuna wale ambao wako katika chama cha ODM ambao wanaunga serikali 100%. Sasa hapo ndio sasa tunataka tujadili. And what I was saying is that when you look at the Ruto alliances with Raila, I think he's starting to have challenges. There are those who feel that the ODM should not be the praise and worship team of Kenya Kwanza. And this was witnessed this weekend. There are also those who feel they are in the government and they need to talk about the policies of the government. That is what is happening. So that is something that we are going to discuss. Another thing also we are going to discuss about what happened during the weekend. They regard the onslaught again on President William Samoei Ruto. High Court. Rigathi revealed how he detected the betrayal of the mountain, especially from President William Ruto. Yesterday, when he was speaking, he narrated, though, when he came to detect that President William Ruto is betraying Mount Kenya. One, and this was when the MPs for Iyala were being elected. Remember, we have the East Africa Parliament, which sits in Arusha. But always, the political parties usually elect their representative in Iyala. So I think President and Deputy President, former Deputy President, has agreed to nominate. So from the nomination, the Deputy President is saying, okay, he realized that the interest of Mount Kenya was not catered for. And he says that he called all the MPs from Mount Kenya and say that now one of us must be there. And even Kanini Kega go there, he really played a part. And if you can reflect back or go back, you will get a conversation that Kanini Kega also really thanked the president about that. That is also one thing that I'm waiting for Miguda so that we can start discussion. Another issue is about the remarks that Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta made about the Gen Z. And it has elicited reaction. And members of parliament, especially those who are allied to president, have interpreted it in their own way, the way they feel, like this was an incitement. And those who are not in the President William Ruto camp also feel that President Uhuru Kenyatta, what he said was right. We are going to discuss that. Thank you so much, brother. Thank you so much, Gibson Corner, for joining us. I'm still waiting for Miguda to come in. Thank you, Brenda. Thank you, Judith, for joining. Again in Bungoma, there's something that I want everybody to take very keen note of. And as Kenyans will be making those decisions, or when Kenyans are in the political processes, you have to be very wary of what the leaders are saying, you know, and what they are saying, especially in public, will form the basis of the can tell you where we are headed as a country. And I think where we've reached as a country, you know, when it comes to tribal has been one of those elements that the politicians have always used to drive the emotions or to create that political um, to resonate with the people. And I'm not seeing myself seeing this politician running away from this. Because yesterday, if you're very keen in Bungoma, when some MPs, members of parliament, were trying to castigate the people from the mountain, we called it the anti-Kikuyu campaign. That's how I'm calling it, because like we need now to learn. And they were talking before the president. You know, they were talking before the president. But I think he should also take the leaders. One of the things that as a leader, if you're elected as a leader, it is a requirement for you. If you see there's a weakness somewhere in the process, you should come out and bring in policies or bring in ideas how you can bridge that. If it's indeed as a leader you feel like the problem might be the mountain and you're a legislator, what are the modalities or what are the methodologies you can employ to bridge that gap of tribalism as a leader? Because you have to identify the mistake or identify the problem. What are the causes? And how can we run away from that? That's also something that I'm waiting Miguda to come on the show so that we can discuss with him. Um, Another thing also that is trending, there's a young guy, the president of Molo. Um, he said to be a human activist. This guy, on the morning of Sunday, he was found dead, and the cause of death was like people came and kind of like hacked him. Yeah, it was brutal, and rumors are going on that he was a very big critic of the area MP. So those are some of the issues that, if it is true, then if we disagree in opinion or we disagree, we have different political opinion, how should we compete? Should we compete through violence and that is going to solve the issue? Or should we compete through ideas, then to build a nation? Even as some of our leaders say that we want Kenya to be like a Singapore. But Singapore, when you look into the history, it was not built through time of the politics that both is coming from opposition and the government. Those are not how the Singapore was built. Singapore was built on a true leadership and people who believe that the interest of the country must be first, then your interest comes second. You have to put your country first. Yeah, so that is something also we will be talking about. I'm still waiting for Miguda. But as I wait for Miguda, our main focus, to me, I want to view and give my thought, especially in the alliance of ODM and William Samoei Ruto. You know, when you look at the history of this alliance, it backs from 26th, from 25th of June last year. And when the young people went on the street, whereby protesting the finance bill, it went a point whereby the country was at its weakest moment. And President William Ruto reached out to President Raila Odinga and they formed the government. The guy, okay, let me see. The guy was on activist. That was no point of silencing him. That is what we are saying, because if you're fighting for the right and you're talking about the issues, you know, why to silence such person? if it's indeed that was your intention. Yeah. Lakini kama imefika mahali labda ukasema kwamba hiyo ndio utafanya, hiyo maneno hayataendelea, bado kutaendelea. Unajua kuna jambo moja ambapo naweza sema, I'm still repeating this. There's one thing that still even the politicians, even including the president and every the administration, that people still, the politicians are still not knowing on how to handle the social media and the group of uh, young people who were not in the in yesteryears, were not so much involved in politics, and now the young people are so much interested in politics, and the reason being, one, the internet. You know, now the young people are calling for accountability and transparency. The very moment you do something, or you start to do a project, the accountability will be asked from the people. And this, what has necessitated this is because, you know, with the global, everybody can compare what other countries are doing the same as what you're doing, and they see where you are not doing it right, especially when it comes to giving contracts, because they can compare. Even if you compare the SGR project in Tanzania and the SGR project in Kenya, which one costed more? Yeah. So that is the work of internet, because those informations are there. So I'm still waiting for Miguda, but as I wait for Miguda, let me come to ODM, and I want to focus on the speech of James Orengo. James Orengo spoke of something that is quite much interesting and something that is very important that we need to talk about. James Orengo talked about identity, and his first statement talked about we as Luo and the ODM, we have what we call identity. What does that one mean when he talks about identity? Then he talked about you can compromise, but when you compromise, your compromises should be that which is just. So he's talking about justice. And if you remember, the first person to discredit the unison or the alliance between Raila Odinga and President William Ruto was James Orengo. Because James Orengo was laying this is not anchored in law. There's no any agreement that has been signed that this alliance is anchored on. Come to Sifuna. So if you listen to what Sifuna said and what Orengo said, they were speaking the same language. And what was the language? The language was they are not supporting, or they're not in agreement with the broad-based government, because one, if ODM stand for justice and some of the things that are happening, we have issue to do with abduction. You know, we have issue to do with capitation that uh, um, Sifuna was talking about. We have the issue to do with even the person that they were burying, who raised the alarm, who criticized the government. After that, what happened? The money was withdrawn. What does that one tell you? So, so all this was making James Orengo to distance himself, or to distance the ODM from the party, from the government. And also, Simbarati too is talking. Is getting if them when there's a employment. Yeah. Remember, there was a time Opio Wandai said that he's going to host MPs from Nyanza in his office, so they can talk about on how they can distribute electricity, and the Kisi was excluded. And when Simbarati talks, and he talks and remembered the days of Nyachae, it means they might be taking their own, they also want to have their own political party. Yeah. So to me, I think there's a rift in ODM. And if things are not put in order, ODM will it will lose majority of people, or there are people who are going to go their own way because, like Sifuna, I don't know whether think that he will he will maintain in ODM because the pressure, even those who, there are people who are not very happy with what Sifuna said. Alai was not very happy about it. Robert Alai, if you can remember, there was a, he said that. Mm. So we'll talk about that. The ODM. I'm still waiting for Miguda to come in and we can share with us. Miguda, how are you doing?
I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yes. What happened?
Technicality, technicalities.
Okay. How are you doing? I was just giving some briefs on what we want to talk about, and time has really gone. And I'm seeing Gibson Connor. He's here with us. Judith, Brenda. Thank you so much for joining. So, Miguda, I want to start with you about the statement that President Uhuru Kenyatta made, especially that was asking the Gen Z to fight for their rights. But in the process, um, there are people who have rebutted the president. Even the president himself rebutted what President Uhuru Kenyatta said. What kind of relationship does this picture paint between the former president and the current president?
There haven't been a good relation with the former president and the current president.
Yeah,
It begins with the times of campaign.
yeah,
And even when the president was sworn in,
yeah.
the current was sworn in, there have been some difficulties. During the time they were in good relationship with the Kashagwa, they
Mhm,
used to tell Uhuru Kenyatta to keep off and let the administration to go on. But even Uhuru responded to them that do not focus on the rare mirror, focus on the where you're heading to. Don't look at the rare mirror. The relationship hasn't been good between the two people, and there have been just some circumstances or some political scenario whereby the two have decided to work together. They have come together to work together because of some circumstances, maybe during the impeachment process or right now when some people wanted to be in the executive. That's when they even for a handshake.
mhm.
People like Abogo, people like Mutahi Kaiga, people like Lee Kinyanjui were brought into the cabinet. But after any circumstances have passed,
Mhm.
he has stood firm and he has remained with whatever he believes in. At the same time, you remember the daughter spoke by trying to be part and parcel of the Gen Z. There was
Yeah.
no way a dad could dismiss the daughter in front of the people that my daughter, what you're doing is wrong because they believe in the cause. He was appealing to the daughter's statement. He was echoing what the daughter said. At the same time, he
Mhm.
was appealing to the Gen Z constituency. I told you, all this Gen Z movement and all, the majority of the people are coming from Mount Kenya. Therefore, it is very in order for him to oppose whatever is going on in to Mount Kenya, because he is part and parcel of the people of Mount Kenya. The only difficulty is that he cannot work with Gashagwa, but he must also insist on the popular will of the people, that the people need reforms. The people also are fighting for their rights, but working with the Gachagua to address the same agenda, that's where it draws the line. You want to do it independently.
Okay. I disagree with you at some point because even me, I tend to think like when President William Ruto visited the former president, as the podcasters, we might have gone the overboard and made conclusion that President William Ruto is in the broad-based government. But from the look of things, I don't think so. And the reason why I don't think so is this: today, when you listen to Jeremiah Kioni, yeah, because it is now being rumored that even the meeting between the former head of state and the current one was planned to happen in State House, and the president declined. The former president declined and said that you have to come to my place. You know, so and with what President Uhuru Kenyatta said about the Gen Z to fight for their right. Remember, ever since the protest of Gen Z started, that the head of state have not spoken publicly about the real issue. But when he spoke, he told them to fight for their rights at a time when the majority of them who have been using the AI generated images, especially on political figures, yeah, some of them have went up missing and being abducted, And when you compare that with what Jeremiah Kioni said, so to me, I think that maybe the current president had already contacted the members that he appointed to the cabinet earlier. So by going to President um, Uhuru was just to create that public that President Uhuru has endorsed this. Because I was even trying to look at it. Remember when even Lee wanted to run for governorship of Nakuru? He never wanted to run with the Jubilee because he had his own party. Then he was convinced otherwise. We have Kabogo did not support Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. So from all those appointees, the only person that I would say was in Uhuru Kenyatta administration was Mutai Kagwe. So I think the ile uhusiano wa raisi aliyekuwa raisi wa awamu ya nne na rais wa saizi ya awamu wa tano, ile mahusiano yao sidhani kama iko kwa, ni ile tu sisi wakikuja katika macho za Wakenya ni ile kusema kwamba wanaongea, lakini ndani yao nadhani kwa undani zaidi labda kuna tashwishi. Hakuna ile maelewano vizuri kulingana na hata yeye vitu ambazo alipitia. Sasa mimi hiyo ndo maoni yangu.
The leaders also cannot display their differences in public. Whenever
True.
they're in public and there are cameras, they even if they have differences, they can't display it in public.
Yeah.
They seem to be united in public in the eyes of the public, but perhaps sometimes they are not united. They have differences. Maybe Ruto could have heard that Ouru was at Ichaweri. Then Ruto
Yeah.
was around. He ran to Ichaweri and make those displays to the public that we are with Ouru. So to justify the meeting, he has
Yeah.
to have people like Agwe, like Kabogo, and people like G to justify that meeting was fruitful. But that could not be the case, because there's a time whereby even if they meet in public, but they come back to us and like Raila said that it is Ruto who went to his place, kneeling down, crying that Raila kindly come and stabilize my government. We never knew those things. The content of that meeting, maybe we can say that people went overboard to
Yeah.
discuss, but that was not the case.
Yeah. I
And
think
I also believe that the current president might be sidelining, might be speaking on behalf of Jubilee because he's a party lead of Jubilee. And Jeremiah Kione they have maintained that they are supporting the Gen Z movement, and they are also opposed to the regime. Therefore, by him supporting the current regime and opposing the Gen Z, it will be contrary to the position of the party that he leads, that's the Jubilee Party. The Jubilee Party is not part and parcel of this government. The Jubilee Party has been siding with the Gen Z. Therefore, by him coming out to support Gen Z at the same time, it means that he's aligning with the Kioni and the party, Jubilee Party.
okay. And before we I bring you and ask you another question, talking about the same thing with the Uhuru, because like, come to think of it, how comes that if Uhuru Kenyatta was given an opportunity um, to uh, give his prophet, I mean his experts the government, the Raila did, he decided to get only people from his home area or people from his region. How is that one possible? And what could he be portraying? Or this one was also used after pointing this, then could also portray him as somebody who is very tribal, because like you're given an opportunity to uh, propose uh, some experts in the government, but you just decided to go to your own community.
That's why I'm still insisting that people went overboard, because Ruto never said what the content of the meeting.
Yeah.
Or never said the content of the meeting. Then, when appointments came out after that meeting, I told that that meeting was just deliberate to justify appointment. And when justification has come for the appointments, it's
Yeah.
a clear indication that the appointment has been made targeting one region, regional balancing, that the people from the same community
Yeah.
have been called to government after meeting one of the leaders in the region, former
Mhm.
president, to mean that this issue of tribalism is being directed to the non-Kenyan people. It's just about political calculation, whereby they are trying to justify. If you heard what Sudi said today on TikTok,
Yeah, I'm
Sudi was
coming.
saying
Yes.
that,
Yeah.
yeah, he was calling Rigathi Gachagua Wamunyoro, pure box Madeira. It means now they're just trying to justify that whenever even a Kikuyu community has given opportunity to propose people in the cabinet, they
Yeah.
just bring their people. And whenever, unlike other people, that they're just trying to justify the 2027 agenda for the political. But it's like William Ruto was trying to make a very cunning move, but now Uhuru has responded to him that whatever you're trying to do is not making sense. As for me, I'm supporting the Gen Z movement. As for me, I'm opposed to anybody who is going to contrary to the rights of the people.
Okay. That's okay. And this is what yesterday, what President William Ruto say, don't incite the youth. Ruto tells Uhuru. So because like it's every person has interpreted what former President Uhuru said in different ways. If you are not supporting President William Ruto, you will call it incitement. If you're supporting President William Ruto, I mean, you will call it incitement. But if you're not supporting President William Ruto, you will say, okay, that is encouragement and it's telling the youth to take their part, so that is them. So today also, President was in Kakamega and he said, asema tu, ni ngumu bana. You know what President said? Alisema aje, hii 2027 hii kushindana na mimi 2027 ni ngumu sana. That we will come to that again. We will talk about that. Now, when you come to the ODM, especially with the Gen Z, I hope I think you remember what the MP for Dagoretti, Beatrice Elachi, alikuwa anaambia wa Kenya, hama si uhame utoke Kenya. You find this kiburi, do we call it kiburi? Sana sana kiburi kutoka kwa viongozi ambao labda wako karibu na rais. Unaona? Kwa sababu ukipata kwamba mtu anajaribu kukosoa, kuna ile kiburi mpaka mheshimiwa anakuambia, "We toka, enda Kenya." Kwani ni nini? Hiyo nini inaleta hayo? Ama nini inaleta hiyo kiburi ambao tunaona kwamba wanasiasa wako nayo? Kwa wale sana sana wako karibu na rais.
Hiyo kiburi kazi yake ni rahisi. Hiyo kiburi yao itatandikwa 2027, itatoka. Unajua, kwa mfano, let me give you an example.
Yeah.
Currently in the English Premier League,
Mhm.
that is it's in the United Kingdom, you find that we had a club by name Manchester United. The club
Wanatandika
is even known to be Kiburi FC locally here. We call it Kiburi FC.
na
Right now
wanatandika.
they are being beaten like no one's business, and it's a clear indication that even that kiburi is now inapunguza when inapungua. The same
Eh,
same kiburi people like Alachi are having. People will deal with the people like Alachi very well in 2027, and they will not get back to parliament. What I want to say is that what's happened is not new. It is just what we call power. Power has gotten into their head. And the way I usually say here, absolute power corrupts. It
so
corrupts absolutely. It means that the power got into their head. When power get into your head, you don't even think. people like Imani Shungwa, people like Duale, those are a very good living example of people who power has gotten into their head. They don't think that there is democratic exercise whereby people will go back to the ballot and elect new leaders. Just wait. That Kiburi, we will deal with that Kiburi squarely at the ballot. Don't not worry about that Kiburi. We know how to deal with it because it is not the first time. Remember during the 12th Parliament. 12th Parliament, I remember Duale was the majority leader.
Yeah.
By that time, Ruto was the deputy president. Ruto and Duale, not even the 11th Parliament, Ruto and Duale, power got into their head. The way they were talking to people, even Ruto went further and declared that hii serikali, Uhuru Kenyatta ni mlevi, mimi ndio naendesha hii serikali. I'm in control as the deputy president, but I'm in control of this of the government. Duale was speaking to anybody like shit. But guess what? When Raila get into an handshake with Uhuru Kenyatta, they were silenced until they make a comeback right now. So do not worry about these things you are seeing with the Lachi, all this Kiburi. Ask Manu right now. Ask Manchester United. Ask us. We know what Kiburi is.
Okay, be good. Kenya, my brother is telling you that Kibori we bango kuon kamera koso kwayo mandasi gicha. Utakumbuka hizo wakati za high school. So Kenya Rebel, thank you so much my brother. I hope you're doing fine. So unajua jana ndio maana labda jana ulikuwa umekataa kuongea kwa sababu mimi sifuati mpira sana, lakini najua we ni mshabiki ama unashabikia Manchester United. Na jana walitandikwa na timu ingine ndogo sana. Na ndio maana jana mlikuwa mmekasirika, mtaki kuongea, na hiyo makasiriko na kiburi ilikuwa imerudi chini kidogo. Lakini ni sawa tu, tunaelewa. So, so Marco Bura, how are you doing, sir?
I'm okay.
Eh,
I'm doing good. Nimekaribia na wasalimu nyote kwa jina la Baba. Nasalimu ndugu zangu, marafiki wetu Jipsaikona, Kenya Revolutionary. Naona anasema na bango kuon kwa kamera. Yeah, also allow me to recognize the presence of Judith Karuita, Brenda Obedi na wale ambao wamejoin. Nimefika, nashukuru. Na nimesikia ukiongea mambo ya Man U. Hiyo unajua you're touching the live wire mahali. So ukiona wamenyamaza waache tu wanyamaze hivyo. Usiwaguze for now.
Kwa sababu
let that reality get into.
Kwa sababu unataka tusiwaguze kwa sababu walichapwa ama kwa sababu walikuwaga na kiburi, I mean. Hiyo Mkude alikuwa anasema kwamba hiyo kiburi yao.
Hiyo ni unajua kiburi for someone ndio mtu akuwe na kiburi. That's the same way William Samoei Ruto and his government. They believe that they have control of everything.
Yeah.
The same way the Man U team and farm, they've always believed that they're in control. And for that matter, they can speak anyhowly and they can talk.
Yeah.
Positively or negatively. Mahali, anywhere. So wameanza kuonyeshwa ya kwamba kiburi reloaded is not everything to go by. And the same maana hivyo ndio tutatoa hata hii serikali ambayo iko na kiburi.
Okay, sawa. Asante sana na kusubiri. Mimi tu niko na swali chache.
Anasema nakula ugali. Sikuli ugali, nilikuwa nakula mkate. Kenya Rebel.
Kenya Rebel, unajua Marco Bura is in the economy class. Sasa ugali na kasi. So Marco Bura, once again, thank you so much for joining and thank you for your time. So there's an issue here about the alliance. We are looking at the alliance of President William Ruto and Raila Odinga. Last week, not even last week, before even last week, Edwin Sifuna has always come out. After a long period of time, Edwin Sifuna started to to sit in some podcasts and sit in some interviews, and his words are speaking something different with what the party is doing. And this was yesterday confirmed in the presence this weekend when they were there in Siaya County, in the presence of Raila. And Orengo too spoke of the same thing. Yeah. What is happening is the alliances between Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Odinga and the President William Ruto is fading away, or the ODM itself has reached a point whereby now it wants to burst into two, where there are those factions that are speaking the language of the people and those that are supporting the government. Maybe in brief.
Okay, thank you. We briefly tackled that yesterday. The issue between the ODM declaring, they declared their support of to support the government after the Gen Z's demonstration, and Raila made the decision when most people are not really expecting that move. So there's a number of members of parliament within ODM, the likes, not just members of parliament, leaders within ODM, led by the governor, James Orengo, Secretary General Sifuna, Babu Owino, and some, and many others. ODM, if you also listened to their speech on Saturday, they were saying that ODM has an identity. And, ODM, we've known it, this party as a party that, always fights. Hatujazoea kuona ODM wakiwa on the government side. We are used to seeing the ODM leadership taking people to the street, advocating for the rights of the people, fighting for the rights of the people. And this time round, we are seeing a different ODM. And that is also, I think that is also clarifying the fact that the greediness among the political class is real, and that depending with what they are getting, depending with the personal, depending with personal income or whatever they're getting, personal interest, they will always make a move that is not expected, a move that is strange to the people. And that is what we saw. There's a good number of members of parliament who are really supporting the move by the ODM to support the government. From my understanding, if you can remember, the clarification that was given by ODM on the matter of on the extent at which they were going to support the government, they said that they were just helping the government to recover so that we can get a stable country, according to the comments of Raila, and that the move by the Gen Zs was going to destabilize the government and we were going the wrong way, according to the comments of Raila. So we expected the members of ODM to maybe, as much as they were supporting the government, we expected them to stand with the rights of the people and continue advocating for the rights of the people. But what we are seeing is quite different from our expectation, and so we are not so sure the kind of agreement that the ODM party got. This the agreement that they got into with the KK. And that is why there's a lot of confusion among the members of ODM, and you find that there's a group that is pro-government, and there's a group that is having a different take, and that group is led by the Secretary General, the likes of Governor Orengo. Them, they are saying that ODM, according to them, it has an identity of fighting for the people. And so this government currently, they're doing things which are not really pro-people. They're doing things which are going against the rights of the people. And so the real members of ODM who knew what ODM stand for, according to what the preaching that they've been giving us, they are stuck, and they have this urge of coming out to defend the people, but at the same time, they are finding their members who are also, supporting what the bad moves by the government. So they are confused, and that is why you've seen somebody like Sifuna. He used to be very vocal sometimes back. Somebody like Babu Owino, they went underground just because they wanted to somehow understand the political environment and make the right move without uh, making or without following a route that would cost them politically. So all this, I would say, depends on personal interest of these individuals. And again, most of them are trying to look at the future politics. The future politics that is after 2027. Majority of these leaders who are supporting the president, they're saying that this is my thinking, that suppose Raila gets out of the political environment, then they'll need a political figure whom they will hang on. And if they look around, they're seeing that the easiest person to hang around is the president. And they also understand who the president is. The president is not someone who can leave that position easily. And so they're trying to hang on the president so that if Raila loses, if Raila leaves, at least they will have a political figure who will hold their hands so that they will not get to a point where they are in political oblivion.
Okay, thank you so much. I will invite Miguda. And I want to respond to my friend. I think Sifuna knows the ship is sinking, so ameanza kujitengenezea resume. True. And also something that you have to remember is this. When you look at the constituents of Nairobi, the constituents of Nairobi are a majority of them are well informed, that are not going to be driven by the party politics. They know what they want. Yeah. And so, like for Sifuna, he has to play it very, very, very wisely, because you cannot play the politics by banking on the tribal politics, because you're not in the village. You know, for the MPs who are in the village, they can go with supporting the government or not supporting the government, because they're still waiting for the wind, the signal, where the signal will come from. But people like Sifuna, especially in the Cosmo areas like Nairobi or these towns, they have to play it very, 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 very keen, because they know that the people they're leading, even especially the young people, do not care about the tribal, and they don't listen to what some other political class derive. Miguda, I hope you're still there.
Yeah, I'm around.
Okay, I want you to weigh your thoughts, because yesterday Rigathi Gachagua talked of something that there is first experience to detect that the president was betraying Mount Kenya was when the positions of Yala were being failed. Yeah, especially they were proposing their members, and they had agreed. So during the voting, he came to realize that now the Mount Kenya, especially people from Mount Kenya, were not in the list, and only the people who were close to the president, the people who were nominated, and that was his first detecting of betrayal from President William Ruto. So that's why he convened a meeting. This is based on his narration of people who are coming from Mount Kenya to see Kanini Kega going to Iyala. And Sudi responded, yeah, immediately. That is one. Secondly, Deputy President also spoke of how there was a literature that was being written to him to speak about that today, where Sema. Then later he came to realize that, oh, this thing is creating rift between me and the people. So he was working on the script. Mhm. Two issues. What is your take on those two issues?
First, before I respond to those two issues, allow me to clarify what Makubra have said and what you have said in support of whatever you have said. The issue with the ODM at the city square.
Yeah.
For instance, I just want to give you a brief example to understand that if you are in the city politics, you don't need to rely on ODM because city is dynamics. For instance, right now, if Makobura works in a polling station in Nairobi City, and there is option of Babu Owino in Sakaja, Makobura will not mind ODM ticket or Wanyonyi will tell me. Makobura will just vote for somebody he feels like, I feel this one. And remember Makobura being a Luo, and presumably be that they want him to also be ODM diehard or Baba, yes. It cannot work that way, because what I'm trying to say that the dynamics and the fact that information and whatever he believes in, you cannot direct him whom to vote for because of party politics. That one won't work. Just like any other person of that average, of that age. What we work so is to talk about tribalism, whereby Mr. President said, no, Rigiji said that he was advocating for the people of Mount Kenya to be nominated to the East Africa Legislative Assembly, because he felt that Ruto had proposed 5 names, and out of 5 names, there were no Mount Kenya. Ruto is the one who was calling out Mount Kenya MPs to vote for the people, the 5 names. It means that Rigathi Gachagua is simply appealing to the people that even in the middle of appointments, he has been advocating for the people of Mount Kenya to be appointed. It has been in the forefront to fight for the interests of the community, that the community must be represented all over in the appointments, even be it Yala. He is the one who has been trying to bring the community into government, but William Ruto has been trying to reduce the community as much as possible. He's directing his war, the war of William Ruto, to the community that this guy is against you. It's not between Rigathi Gachagua and Ruto, it's Ruto versus Mount Kenya people. Because whenever you want to make an appointment, he ensure that he excludes the people of Mount Kenya. And also the issue of Ruto writing for them everything, whatever they were saying. He's still telling the people that even whatever Kimani was saying, those are Ruto's words. It is Ruto who is talking about all those shits, not the people. Even him, every mistake he made, every utterances he made during the time he was the deputy president, all those things should be taken to the doorstep of William Ruto, not him. Those were not his mind. Those were not his opinion. Those were Ruto's opinion, but because he was the boss, it's like telling people that this guy you are seeing, William Ruto, he want to consolidate power and maintain power. And anybody who has any contrary opinion to him, that person must be shown the door. And that is exactly what they have done to me. He's trying to get out of all the mistakes he did when he was the deputy president and putting all the mistakes to William Ruto. At the same time, he's trying to say that the reason why he was impeached was just based on the ideology differences, whereby he had a divergent opinion from the Mr. President. The Mr. President is more of a dictator, someone who does not allow anyone to have any divergent opinion. If you intend, or if you have any divergent opinion from his own opinion, he's acting like a despot. That person must be dealt with to an extent that you can even lose your seat the way Rigathi has lost his seat. I think that could be my 2 answers to those questions.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Miguda. I can see a good friend and a colleague. Gypsy Kona ni kama amemiss nyumbani sana. Gypsy Kona naona ananisemesha hapa kwa comment section. Gypsy Kona is saying tribalism has now stretched from hating the mountain to the Somali community, according to Junet. Okay, I should buy a guata and eat a boil if I want to get full. Siku hizi hakuna guata, brother yangu Kenya Rebel. Guata zimeanza kupotea, lakini zinapatikana kidogo kidogo. Maybe you should also translate to our friend Gypsy Kona, mwenye asikii unaongelelea nini. Alafu nasema nyoka and muhogo is the way. Okay, I get you. And then I've also shared a link. Anyone who maybe want to give his thought on what we've talked about can also join. And Psychona Jesus Christ, yeah, okay. How many Amulia Leo? And then Eric is saying, I really loved what Gashagwa is doing. I like it. Gashagwa should continue. Okay. Yeah, so okay, that's okay. Mr. Miguda, Brother Benson talked about something before he left. The issue of the voting class within the Nairobi region that is led by majority of the voters in Nairobi, of course, are young people, and young people are not buying this the politics of tribalism, and that is why majority of them came out, if you can remember, to defend the country, and they did that without looking at where their leaders are coming from. That again can make the politicians from Nairobi. That is why I think Babu Owino, Sifuna, they're taking a different path, because the people of Nairobi is a cosmopolitan. This is where people are coming from different tribes. And remember, when demonstrations are starting, normally they do start within the capital, and so the people of Nairobi always have a bigger say when it comes to the all these other moves, demonstration and the other ones. So something else that might be making them have this, consistency in fighting for the people. Remember, in Nairobi, it is very tough. If you are not, no matter the sycophancy in you, people will not really look at the sycophancy, but the whole thing that they look at is your capability, the political prowess, what you are able to do for the people. And that is why we've had every election cycle, we do have different governors. There is no governor that has managed to go for 2 term, just because the expectation of the people of Nairobi is quite huge, and the people of Nairobi are very alert. The moment they see that you promised them something and then you fail to deliver, automatically they'll not give you a chance. And I think the likes of Sifuna, Babowino are just trying to maintain, just because they know, again, that they have some political future and they are having political interest in different seats. So they are just trying to maintain doing what they feel is right before the people, so that at least they can get another chance. So that is what I wanted to add on the differences that you're seeing between the ODM members. Deep Psychon is saying you're suggesting that you are willing for Gachagua to rejoin a government in courts, not necessarily Ruto's government. Okay. Maybe Eric can give us his take on that. Yes, Mr. Miguda, the president was in Kakamega, yes, and Kakamega is also, I would call it the ODM zone, because for so many years we've seen ODM win the governor seat and majority of political positions. And if you can remember, the former governor, who is currently a cabinet secretary, one of the experts who are donated to this government of William Samoei Ruto, he was the deputy party leader, and he hails from Kakamega. And we're also seeing majority of political leaders led by the governor, the current governor, Fernandez Baraza, the deputy governor, and some of the members of parliament. They were there to welcome the president. And the president felt, I watched the whole thing, he felt like he was home. and we saw him doing some inspection on the affordable housing and all those, and he wrote something on his social media that those who have a negative attitude or negative comments on this government should know that the government is working and such kind of things. Mr. Migud, what can you say about his visit to the western part and specifically um, Kakamega?
Kakamega, Kakamega was politically strategical for him, because Kakamega being in western part of the country, and there was also payment of farmers. To be precise, the sugarcane farmers were being paid, and a good number of them were paid whatever they displayed to us. He went there to articulate, as usual, the policies of the Kenya Kwanza government, and he responded to some issues raised by the local leaders. He responded to issues like affordable housing, that the Azimio and the UDA are different manifestos, but they have some similarities in their manifesto. And one of the similarities in the manifesto was that each and every person presented the Kenyan people that will build affordable housing. In his view, there's absolutely no reason why the people should oppose affordable housing, because even the Azimio, if Azimio could have taken government, they could have implemented the affordable housing. He goes ahead and try to respond to the issue of shisha. The issue of shisha. Shisha, he said that the people should register, and he said that registration is free, and more so importantly, the people cannot afford to pay. The government will pay for them. That's why I have a problem with Mr. President. Who are these people cannot pay? Because this is how it will bring for you all the categories whereby you have to pay 150, 200 to 50, 1,000, even 120. But who is this person whereby the Shisha will tell us that this guy cannot pay at all? Because I understand even Mamboga, Mutaboda, they pay 120. I just want to know this person who cannot afford to pay, who the government is going to pay for. After we have seen that person, then we'll be contented with whatever Mr. President is saying. But if we have not seen that person, still we will have some question to ask him that, show us this one person who cannot pay, which government has paid for. We want to see that person. Those are the things that he tried to talk about in Kakamega. It was simply articulating the policies, but it was specifically on the affordable housing and the universal health coverage. He also talked about the issue of agriculture. That's by trying to make some payment to the sugarcane farmers. And those are the three major important issues that he stated. And also he is supposed to go back to the same county on Wednesday to open a certain dispensary. It was about health, agriculture, and also public service. That's why he went to that region. But it was politically strategic for him to go there, because you also saw the presence of former governor Oparanya, presence of current governor by Fernandez Baraza, and even Lusaka was there, and some area MPs were also present. To add on what Ayaga said about Rigathi Gachagua, in my view, I believe that right now Rigathi Gachagua is having a field day. He's really enjoying. He's having a field day in Mount Kenya. That's why I've not seen him out of Mount Kenya. He's just based in Mount Kenya. He's having a field day. He responds to Mr. President. Whatever is happening to this regime, Rigathi Gachagua is just thrilling because it works on his advantage. Now people tend to believe in that. Okay, this is why you were impeached. Oh, this is why you are sent out of the government, because there are some messes and you are against those things. He's just having a field day and he's enjoying his political career.
Okay, thank you for that. I can see a comment here from our friend Eric. He's saying, I love opposition politics with Gachagua at the end. Babawino, if he played his cards well, he can easily win the governor seat. Even ODM MPs in Nairobi has developed cold feet. Okay, that is Eric's comment. I've just remembered, if I don't know if you saw the comments or what member of parliament Peter Salasya had to say while addressing, the gathering there in the presence of the president. He came out and told the president that kuna wakora wengi ambao wako karibu na yeye na wanamdanganya, that things are working but things are not truly working. Again, he told the president that this issue of SHA, of course, is not working, and the people around him are, telling him that it is working. I think that was a bold move because the majority of these members of parliament, whenever they get a chance to speak before the president, what we've always seen them do is to praise the president and, to tell him that everything is okay, that he's performing well. What is your take on the recent stance or comments or the bold move by Peter Salasya? Not so long ago, we had him criticize, the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga, and he said that his party is the one that is actually misleading the people of Kenya because his party is supporting the president and the president is not doing or following the constitution as he swore he would. Not just Peter Salasya, we've seen young members of parliament, most of them are coming out to have a different opinion. If you saw, for example, the comments of the women rep of Murang'a, I think, I'm not so sure, I think it's Murang'a, the young women rep from Murang'a. She also came out yesterday and said that the government should focus on, delivering for the people, and the issue of, for example, abduction, and it is a real thing, they should stop it. And all the members of, parliament who are supporting the president should tell the president as well. Not so long ago, MP Hamisi also came out and did the same. And what is your take on the stance by the young politicians led by Peter Salasya, for example?
All right, before I go to the question of Ax, let me just try to emphasize of what Ayaga said, that they are likely to get Nairobi governor with the kind of cards Gachagua is playing. If Gachagua is going to bring for us Gakuya as a candidate from Mount Kenya, of course, Sakaja is going to defend the seat. We don't know which party is going to defend the seat with. Wanyonyi is on the way and Babu. In my way, if Gakuya can take away all the Kikuyu's vote that was given Sakaja, then Sakaja is now naked. And Sakaja is going to be number last among all the aspirants. The person who is going to be the governor, we can't say right now, but the person who is not going to be governor is known, Sakaja. But Babu might have a chance if he plays his cards very well, because Babu commands certain constituency across the tribe, the youthful constituency. If the youthful constituency can come out, Babu will be declared very early in the morning as the next governor of Nairobi. So we are encouraging Rigathi Gachagua to bring on Gakuya, because this war, we need everybody on board to make sure that someone is not going to get the second term as the city governor. Salasya coming out to talk to in the presence of Mr. President boldly, it's a bold move, I agree with you, but Salasya was a bit trickster because he was attacking at the same time he was defending, attacking while defending. It does not bring that courageous person. It doesn't come out brave like other politicians who usually attack directly. Salasya was attacking and defending at the same time, but as a young person, that was a very bold move. But the reason why I'm also not giving him much credit is because the way Ruto responded to him. Ruto took only 3 minutes to dismantle Salasia. Ruto is a senior politician. He has been in these trenches for so long. You don't need to, when you are dealing with him, do not spare him. Don't attack and defend at the same time. If you are dealing with William Ruto, just attack him directly. You saw even the way he responded to Halwale. Halwale appear like a junior politician. A junior politician sometimes should be bold enough and face the enemy with boldness. There is no need of you attacking and defending. If you attack and defend, the president will view you as someone who is weak. That is why he responds to Salasia within 3 minutes. Salasia was down, and people are now cheering Mr. President because Salasia was trying to advocate for the people who have pay slips in the village. When Ruto came out, Ruto said that how many people have pay slips here? All these people don't have pay slip. You are defending your own pay slip as the member of parliament, whereas the common Ranchu do not have pay slips here. No one is there to talk for them. You go and register for that shisha because when you are sick, if you are in the hospital, they will ask you, have you registered for the shisha? That's when they start treating you. But if you have not registered, you will not have a point to be to have a treatment. That's why I'm telling you, Ruto is a senior politician, well experienced. And if you're a young politician, you even go ahead and try and told Pastor Sasa, you came the other day, ulikuja parliament juzi. Relax. It means that you don't need to fear him. You don't need to attack and defend at the same time. You have seen the way Babu used to deal with Uhuru Kenyatta. He was facing Uhuru Kenyatta directly. There was no excuses for defense. Even whenever he's attacking William, he's attacking William directly. That is why they fear Babu Owino. Because Babu Owino will not spare you. Babu Owino will not come to you and defend and attack and try to please you or please the audience and please the president. When he's dealing with the president, he will deal with the president boldly. And that's why he has got so many credit for the people, because people believe in him, that is brave. But if you are a certain politician who is attacking and defending, you appear weak in the eyes of your opponent. That's why Mr. President was just laughing at Salasi, at the same time was laughing at Boni Halwale. And at the end of the day, if you are giving the marks today, Mr. President had it. He got the people. And then because to make it worse, he was the person who was speaking last. So you should find a way of attacking him. And I will advise young people that just believe in yourself, don't fear. If you stand for the right thing, just attack that person and explain that thing rightfully without any fear. But if you are explaining anything doubtfully, that is why the president will get a leeway and he will make sure that he finished you. And that's what he did to Salasia. That's my take, Makobul.
Okay, thank you so much. Maybe the last thing that you can also just give us your opinion with. I don't know whether you talked about it. I came a little bit late. We have the 47th president in United States of America. He was sworn in today, Mr. Trump. I remember he's come in amidst so many, political issues here and there. And we saw him being sworn in today, and currently he's now the official president of the United States of America. And while giving his first speech, he spoke of how it was tough, how the whole journey was tough. Of course, we know, going through all the political plannings, campaigns here and there, it is not always easy. And he also had to say so many things. I just wanted to give you maybe a chance to, give us a small brief of what you can say about him, and then we'll just finish.
The 47 Porters, President of the United States of America, Trump, we have actually I was following him when he was being inaugurated, but with time I tried to, I'll go back and check it. But I can just make some few observations, whatever I saw at the Capitol. And I was very much impressed because I saw the Democrat leaders' presence in that inauguration day. That's a very clear indication that the person who has won election, let him rule, let him given time to rule. Let us not have divisive politics. Let us support him. It doesn't matter, because currently Trump is the 47th Porters. there's no any other POTUS in the United States of America other than Trump. And I saw people like Biden, I saw Kamala Harris, I saw even Barack Obama in that was in that gathering. Those were the people who opposed him. Those people who opposed Trump during the election time, but now they are working together as the all United States of America. They are not working as some section states of America. That's a very, very good display of a democratic space in the current world, most of the first world country. We should emulate that. I also saw this fan of Trump. I also saw Elon. I also saw Elon Musk and the little X. They were present there. And in our democratic society, as the people of Africa, let me use the word Africa, and in the context of Kenyan politics, by the time Uhuru was being sworn in twice, 13 and 17 respectively, I never saw members of opposition in the presence of inauguration. Even previously, when Ruto was being sworn in, members of opposition were not seen in the inauguration. But after, they sometimes come back and make some coalition agreement with the current regime. We should stop that childish behavior. Whenever someone has been elected, we don't know how he got there, but we understand that current is the president. Let us embrace that president and let us work with that president. That's the only observation I saw, Makubra, that whenever you are in a competition with your opponent, and if your opponent has succeeded well, support him, try to mend those differences and work together for the sake of the people of that country. Don't mind your own difference. Your own difference will just create more diversity. But for the sake of the unity of the country and also stability of the nation and the economy, you need to embrace that leader. You work jointly with one purpose for the state, and you put your country first, the way Americans usually do it, that America first. So we should put Africa first or Kenya first. By doing so, we should have sorted out many issues, including people dying in demonstration, those who are protesting for elections, people are losing lives, the property are being destroyed. But at the end of the day, the person who was elected usually worked for the next 5 years. So why do you destroy properties? Why do you lose lives at the expense? And whereas the person who you are protesting against will still continue to work with we should just understand that in the competition, there must be a winner and a loser. Once someone has been elected, let us embrace that person and work together with that person. That's a very significant observation I have observed in that inauguration of the 47 porters.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. I want to take this opportunity to say a thank you to everyone who joined, and the comments which came in, those who positively interacted with us at the comment section. We don't take it for granted. We really appreciate the fact that you took your time to be with us. You took your time to be with us and to join and to give us your opinion. And also, I don't think if there's any question that we've left unanswered. I think we've tackled almost everything. Yeah, so to our brother Eric Hayaga, Gypsy Corner, Kenya Revolutionary, there's Linda, there's Silas, there's Judith, and Brenda. Everyone who commented, we really appreciate. And we hope and we pray that you can always invite your friends, brothers, sisters, so that they can also join the channel. We grow together as a people. This is Brother Benson Media, and here we always say that your opinion counts. There's a comment here from our friend Gypsy Corner. Kenya stand to be lawless because our president too doesn't acknowledge the rule of law. Yeah, the level of psychophancy, actually, it has really gotten high, and we are surprised as a people. We are surprised as a citizen. If you don't find a way of, instilling some knowledge in our political class, then we are not going the right way, because even learned people who have gone to school, whenever they're speaking in front of the president, more of what they say is, you know, just lying to the president that everything is okay, unaongoza vizuri, unaongoza vyema. These are stories that we used to tulikuwa tunasikiza tu, zilikuwa zinafanyika enzi ya Moi. It is so unfortunate that with the liberal minds that we have, and in this century, people who are learned could come out, to lie in front of the people and to tell the president that everything is okay, and to also make comments like, the comments of one member of parliament of, the member of parliament coming from Garissa, that if, for example, he is given a chance to be a cabinet secretary of, which kind of statements are these? And this person comes before the president and also continues with such comment. I think we need to stand up and defend the democracy that we fought for. And we should not entertain leaders who are selfish, leaders who are greedy to an extent that instead of coming to fight for the people, they're only fighting for their stomachs and praising the president as if the president is some demigod. We need to get out of this sycophancy and stand with the rights of the people. And they should also, majority of them who are Christian, they should defend what Christianity teaches. You cannot carry the Bible and come before the people and tell the people that I will. That is swearing between the people and God. So they have to maintain that. Those who have a different faith as well, you cannot carry the Quran and all those other books, holy books, before the people. And then instead of not doing what you promised with the people and God, you're not doing the otherwise, something else. So we need to come out and continue fighting for our country. We need to come out and continue defending our rights. We need to come out and continue, calling out corrupt leaders who are not really, supporting the people, leaders who are greedy, leaders who are sycophants. We want leaders who are able to stand up and, remind the people in higher, offices that this is what we promised the people. Let us stand with this. Let us do this. And I hope that way we will get somewhere, and possibly Kenya would be one of the best countries to live in Africa, the continent of Africa. That is my take. Mr. Miguda, your final remarks before we close.
My final thought to be to our, just whatever Gypsy Corner have tried to commented on the comment section. Kenya, we are a country that is ruled by constitution. We are under constitutional democracy. We operate under the rule of law. And the people who should be in the forefront to lead us are our leaders, be it a legislature, be it a cabinet, or Mr. President, or whoever, or judges. Any public officer should lead by, even civil servants, they should lead by example, that we are a country of a constitutional democracy. We operate under the rule of law. Therefore, as a president or any other person, any other leader, you have a duty to lead. A leader should lead by example, that truly you are upholding that rule of law and you are defending the constitution. That is when the people will strictly adhere to that rule of law. But you will not blame the people, but you big men, you are not doing whatever you are supposed to do. You will not do whatever you have been mandated to do by the law. That's why we end up becoming a lawless state, which is very unfortunate. We should not be a lawless state because we have fundamentals believes that we have as a country, like the constitution, and we also have institutions that should operate independently to show that the rule of law is strictly adhered to, with the whatever Marco would have stated, with the fear of God The fear of God should be at the apex. Then the rest will just come out later. Makubura, see you next time. Bye-bye to all our viewers.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Megura. Thanks to Brother Benson as well. I'm also once again saying thank you to everyone who joined. We really, really appreciate. Thanks for your continued support. We appreciate. Allow me now to take this opportunity to wish you all a blessed night, a blessed morning, a blessed afternoon, a blessed evening from wherever you are. And I want to say that thank you so much and may God bless you. We hope to see you tomorrow. We'll be having another show tomorrow. Thank you so much and bye bye.